If you ever lived with a chronic illness, you know that healing doesn't always arrive with big breakthroughs. Sometimes it comes so quietly that you almost miss it. For a long time, I was waiting for a day when I would wake up and suddenly feel like my old self again. That day never came. Instead, healing arrived in tiny moments, small victories that on their own didn't seem to be like much, but when I looked back, I realized those tiny wins were changing something much bigger in the picture. They were giving me hope again. When you're living with CFS, it's easy to focus on everything that you've lost, the great feelings and energy that you used to have, the plans that you used to put on hold, the life and future that you imagined. I did that too, but somewhere along the way, I stopped looking at what I couldn't do and started focusing on the things that I could do. Those small changes, became signs that my body was moving in the right direction. For those of you that are new here, my name is Kasim. I'm a structural engineer, and for more than 10 years I struggled with CFS before I found the tools for recovery. If you'd like to stay in tune with the latest health and healing tips, then please consider subscribing so you don't skip a beat with Samsung Wellness. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. One of the first things that I noticed, I wasn't very dramatic. I simply started waking up feeling just a little bit better, not full of energy, not ready to conquer the world, just a little bit less exhausted than before. And for someone who's never experienced CFS, that might not sound very significant, but when you've spent months or even years waking up feeling like you haven't slept at all, even a small improvement like this feels enormous. It reminded me that my body was still capable of healing, and that gave me something, that I was missing for such a long time. Hope. As my confidence slowly returned, I started noticing something else. I started making decisions that I would never have done, in my worst days. When you're unwell, life becomes about survival. You don't think about the months ahead. Sometimes you don't even think about tomorrow. Every decision is based on conserving your energy. But gradually I found myself making choices that reflected hope instead of fear. Not reckless decisions, just bold ones, like stepping out of a job that wasn't right for me, for example. The next tiny one that I didn't notice straight away was when I started planning for my future again. After a certain period of time, I felt like my future was back in my hands again. CFS has a way of shrinking your world. You stop dreaming, you stop planning, you stop making things, you stop imagining what's possible. So when I found myself thinking of my future projects again, future goals and experiences that I wanted to have, it felt like I was reclaiming part of myself that my illness had taken away. This one surprised me the most. I started laughing again, not forcing a smile, but genuinely laughing. For a little while, I was simply present. Those moments reminded me that healing isn't only physical. Sometimes the heart needs to heal before the body catches up. And those moments became strongest moments of therapy that I didn't imagine would come my way. This next one might be one of my favorite tiny wins. There were some moments during the day where I almost forgot that I had CFS. Maybe I was working on something, maybe I was outside, maybe I was talking to someone. Then afterwards I'd realize I didn't think about being sick. That may sound ordinary, but for someone living with chronic illness like CFS, it's extraordinary. Because illness that had occupied my mind for so long, those valuable moments reminded me that my identity was becoming bigger than my diagnosis again. Looking back, none of those moments seemed life-changing on their own. They were very quiet, easy to overlook, almost ordinary, but together they told a story that healing was happening, not all at once, not in dramatic leaps, but one step at a time. And sometimes that's exactly how hope returns. If you're watching this waiting, for your own breakthrough, I want to encourage you not to overlook small victories. Maybe today you smiled, maybe you laughed, maybe you simply, got through the day. Those things matter. Healing isn't always measured by giant milestones. Sometimes it's measured by quiet moments that remind us that we're moving forward again. If you'd like to follow along on my healing journey with CFS series, then please feel free to click on the video series right over here. My name is Kasim. Thanks so much for watching.